have a very, very good team. And no disrespect to any of the other players, but the missing piece to that puzzle was Tom Brady. Now, if you'd have plugged in a different quarterback of his stature, Breeze, Rodgers, would that magical season still would have happened? I don't know, but I think Tom Brady, his leadership, his competitiveness, is he the most talented quarterback? I don't think anyone would say that, but he's got that it factor that you hear people talk about. He makes everyone around him so much better.
So Favre calls it the it factor. I like to call it the Tom Brady effect. The moment that he walks into a building, he elevates everybody's game, and he has the mindset. I've been saying this for months. It's Super Bowl or bust. Always for Tom Brady, and he's going to do whatever it takes to win, whether that's taking less money, bringing players out of retirement, making everybody feel welcomed. And you really saw that in all the post-game interviews with a lot of his teammates, saying this was a selfless win, and they just raved about how incredible Tom Brady was. And he turns franchises, as we saw in his first year with the Bucs, into winning franchises. And Nick, I'm sorry that it came at the expense of your Chiefs, but you have to admit, that was very impressive and incredible to watch.
So I've got extended thoughts on this that I think will surprise the audience that we're going to do at the top of the very next hour. So I want to hold some of it back. Okay. But what I will say is, to your point, Alex, there is a great anecdote about after the NFC Championship game. There was a special teams player, I think it was, I apologize, I can't remember the player's name, who was crying in his locker, so excited they had made the Super Bowl. And Brady yelled at him about it and said, "What the bleep are you crying about? Job's not done. We haven't done anything yet." And I think that speaks to what you're talking about and what Brett Favre is talking about. What else do we got, Alex?
It's the whole mentality. Well, the Eagles are looking to trade Carson Wentz, but they may have to lower their asking price. It's been reported that they are looking for a deal similar to the one the Lions got for Matthew Stafford, but the Athletic's Michael Lombardi says that it's too much. He tweeted, "The Eagles' asking price, according to one team source, was ridiculous, laughable, and not worth countering. And until they lower their expectations based on the uncertainty of the player and contract, their initial price will never be obtained." Now, in my mind, you're only as good as your last performance, your last show, your last season. And Wentz got benched in 2020. Just that alone is hard for me to kind of wrap my head around. He went 3-8-1 as a starter in 2020. He had a 57.4 completion percentage. This is going to be a tough sell for Philly. I mean, Nick, what's your gut feeling? What are they going to get? Are they going to get anything for him?
My gut feeling is I think they will get something, but not much at all. I don't know about in your household. In my house, we're big Monopoly players. We get very competitive with it. We play it a lot. And what the Eagles are doing with Carson Wentz reminds me of a strategy that I have when playing Monopoly, which is I'm trying to sell Connecticut. It's worth like $200. It'll finish a Monopoly. And I say to usually one of my children trying to take advantage, "I'll sell you this for $1,500, hoping to get $200. But I've set the bar so high that maybe they'll think $400's a bargain." That's what the Eagles are doing. Asking for 2 first-round picks. Hey, listen, I've got a nice watch. Yeah. I'll sell it to you right now for $85,000. Like, wait, what? Huh? What? And so, I feel like that's what the Eagles are doing. Is Carson Wentz, they would be very lucky, Alex, to get 1 first-round pick. I think they probably get a 2nd-round pick at best, and 2 firsts is insanity.
I agree. Insanity. It's laughable. It's shocking what they are asking. But let's move on to my cuz, Steph Curry.
$2,000 for Connecticut.
Yeah. No, you stay there. I'll stay in LA. See, you're East Coast, West Coast. I get that. Okay. Well, we're moving on to Steph Curry. His comeback better than ever after missing most of last season with a broken hand. He led the Warriors with 32 points last night in a dominant 114-91 win over the Spurs. And Coach Steve Kerr thinks this is the best Curry has ever played. He said, "Steph constantly amazes you to the point where you almost take it for granted. From a confidence and a strength standpoint, I don't think I've ever seen him look better." And Because we didn't see Steph for so long, I don't know if people forgot that he is absolutely one of the best players in the game. And he broke his hand last season, only played 5 games. So he went 9.5 months between his last games. And then he had to sit home and watch the playoff bubble. I can't even imagine for a player of his magnitude who was at the top of the mountain, who won 3 titles in 4 years. I mean, he was at the peak, the best of the best, and then all of a sudden was at the bottom of the mountain. Think about not only the mental, but the physical training that someone and an athlete of that status puts themselves through to get back to where they need to be. So me personally, this is what I expected to see from Steph Curry, and I am excited that he is showing up and he is playing like this.
Well, I want to give him credit because it's also what I expected going into the year. But when the season started and the Warriors looked like they might be the worst team in the league, there was some concern as far as for one of the guys who I believe to be one of the 18 greatest players in the history of the sport. If you're healthy all year, your team needs to be at least 500. No matter your supporting cast. You can't be terrible. And at the beginning of the year, it looked like they were going to be terrible. And since then, he has he has activated his own little infinity stone. And now they're not a great team, but they are hanging around the playoff picture. And by the way, I think it'd be super fun. A Warriors-Lakers first-round playoff series, 1 versus 8. Now, I don't think the Warriors could win more than 1 game, but seeing Steph have to go into hero mode, Alex, for a whole series, I think would be fun because I still think Kerr is throttling his minutes a bit to not wear him out. And I'd like to see him play 40 minutes a night in a playoff series